Local, late breaking. This is WTVA News.
Right now at 5, an early morning accident causes travel delays along Interstate 22.
Plus, local officials consider opening their own health clinic for city employees in an effort to save time and money. You're watching WTVA News at 5. I'm Emily Leonard.
And I'm Craig Ford. We continue to follow the latest developments surrounding the officer-involved fatal shooting of Antoine Shumpert. Today, a local group of pastors held a news conference to express disappointment with the city's lack of response, and they expressed plans for another protest.
WTVA's Caitlin Patterson joins us with the very latest.
Craig, Emily, the coalition of concerned pastors and leaders announced two things during today's news conference. The first was that a second All Lives Matter march will be held this Saturday. This march will kick off the start of a selective buying campaign, which was the second announcement. With this campaign, people will be encouraged to use businesses that support the group's efforts. All of these efforts are made in an attempt to get the city's attention. The group wants to see the FBI and the Justice Department conduct an independent investigation into the death of 37-year-old Antoine Shumpert, and they would like to see the state flag taken down in the city of Tupelo for once and for all.
Well, we need the city to hear us. I mean, that's what the whole thing is about. The city is the entity that makes decisions on how the police department operates. So we need the city to hear us, that we're serious, and the only way to get the city's attention is to have events, activities, programs, projects that they can see that we do mean what we say.
That march will take place at 10 a.m. on Monday, starting on Franklin Street. Meanwhile, the federal government has already said it will review the case and will conduct an investigation if it sees a need to do so. Caitlin Patterson, WTVA News.
In other news today, a Calhoun County woman has pleaded guilty to charges of having sex with an animal. Sheriff Greg Pollen says 39-year-old Kimberly Coggin of Vardaman was arrested Saturday after an investigation into a photo that was being circulated allegedly showing a woman having sex with a dog. Sheriff Pollen says Coggin opted to waive indictment and pleaded guilty to the charge during a hearing Monday in Calhoun County Circuit Court. She was given a 10-year suspended sentence, 5 years probation, and ordered to register as a sex offender. Authorities are also investigating how the photo was distributed.
A woman from Coffeyville will serve prison time following a guilty plea to DUI death. On Monday, a judge ordered 38-year-old Darlene Farmer to serve 15 years behind bars. She was also ordered to serve 5 years of probation. Investigators say Farmer was impaired when she was driving a vehicle that collided head-on with a truck driven by 57-year-old Barry Hanks of Grenada. Law enforcement says she was trying to pass another vehicle on Highway 8 at the time of the accident. Two people are under arrest for an armed robbery that happened Sunday. Starkville Police and the U.S. Marshals Task Force arrested 18-year-old LaShai Clark of Austin, Texas, and 19-year-old Kenji Taylor of Starkville. Both are charged with armed robbery. The arrests stem from a holdup at a store at 1109 Jackson Street North. Clark and Taylor were taken to the Oktibbeha County Jail. They have yet to go before a judge to get their bond set.
Minor injuries were reported following the rollover of an 18-wheeler near Tremont. Happened around 5 this morning. An 18-wheeler rolled over on I-22 just past the Tremont-Smithville exit. The accident caused traffic delays for several hours. No word on injuries. The Mississippi Highway Patrol is investigating.
Some clocks were flashing this morning following an overnight power outage for customers of Tom Bigby Electric Power Association. A substation in Kirkville went down when the Tennessee Valley Authority lost its feed. This affected more than 2,000 customers in the area, stretching from Marietta to Guntown. Power was restored later in the morning to all areas that lost power overnight.
The Tupelo Exchange Club gave the Family Resource Center in Tupelo a check worth $8,000. The money was raised during a charity golf tournament earlier this year. The Exchange Club raises money each year for a particular cause. This year, they wanted to help the Family Resource Center, which provides a variety of services to families in the area.
Basically, the Exchange Club has two emphases, and that's Americanism, patriotism, but also child abuse awareness support.
This money is used to help support our Children's Advocacy Center. We interview over 400 children a year who have allegedly been sexually abused, witnessed a violent crime, or is in some type of felony child abuse case.
And the Exchange Club hosted a free luncheon for members of the Family Resource Center at the center in downtown Tupelo.
Some local governmental entities are discussing a newly proposed health clinic for its employees in an effort to save money. The city of Columbus, Lowndes County, and Columbus Light and Water heard this morning from experts proposing the idea. The shared clinic would be available to the more than 600 employees and their dependents who are under the current insurance plans. However, no insurance will be accepted, no fees or co-pays or deductibles. Each entity would pay a fixed flat monthly rate. That's estimated to be about $25,000 to $30,000.
All too often, it's higher co-pays, higher deductibles. This is a way to come to a group of employees and say, you know, we essentially are going to provide you 30 to 40% of your total health care needs for you and your family at no charge.
Backers of the clinic are looking at 2 locations, but a final decision has yet to be made. Hours of the clinic would be up to the different entities, and the boards representing those entities must now vote at their meetings to move forward with this proposal. This clinic could be up and running by the end of November.
By just simply picking up a card at the counter of your local pharmacy, families can save lots of money. It's made possible through United Way. Families wanting prescription medication can use a FamilyWize savings card for a discounted price, which could save an average of 42%. Even if you have coverage for a prescription drug, the FamilyWize card will provide additional coverage. You can check its webpage to see if your medicine is covered. The cards are completely free and available on a pharmacy counter near you.
We try to make those cards available in high traffic areas. So if there's a pharmacy that we know that's going to utilize the card, we'll place those cards at that pharmacy's counter. Or if there are agencies that we are partners with, we'll make sure that each agency has a bundle of cards to give them out and distribute them.
And United Way of Lowndes County saved over $92,000 last year, and the state of Mississippi saved nearly $1.5 million.
William Carey University will use the Hancock Leadership Center in Tupelo to teach some master's and specialist classes. These students will meet 3 Saturdays a semester at the building. All other learning for these courses will be online and through internships. William Carey is in Hattiesburg, but through this agreement, local teachers can now pursue continuing education a little closer to home.
And at Ole Miss, the university's Department of Campus Recreation is expanding. To accommodate growth, construction will begin soon on a recreation center and transportation hub at the former Whirlpool factory just south of Highway 6 on Chucky Mullins Drive. Demolition on part of that facility started earlier this month. The new facility will have around 90,000 square feet of space for fitness and training, including a wellness suite, personal training studio, and even a climbing wall. It will also house 2 basketball courts and a food venue.
All morning long, college students were out volunteering their time at dozens of sites in North Mississippi. This is the 7th annual Service Dogs Day. 600 students at Mississippi State University were spread out through Starkville and Columbus. Students you see here volunteer their time cleaning the Boys and Girls Clubs in Starkville. But volunteers went to 35 sites to do community service projects. Organizers of the annual event say each year it gets bigger and better.
We like to give students the opportunity to do a couple things. One, connect with each other, and then plug in and connect with the community. So our students are not only ambassadors, but the biggest thing that we want for our students is to gain a great education and then to learn how to apply that education in life after Mississippi State University.
This is part of MSU Dog Days leading up to the first day of classes next Tuesday.
Some areas hearing thunder and some seeing a little rainfall this afternoon. Here's a look live out of our Tupelo Tower Cam.
At 5:07, let's go to WTVA Chief Meteorologist Matt Lobhan, who has the first look at the WTVA Weather Authority forecast.
But thankfully, all of those thunderstorms today have been what we call non-severe. Heavy, yes, low-hanging clouds, yes, and some lightning. But a lot of these kind of tropical showers almost. You can probably tell that really dense rainfall that you have a lot of times when you go to Florida on those beach vacations. That's the kind of stuff we have today. It's a whole week of that going forward as a tropical disturbance tries to wrap up some moisture. Most of these showers will be done as we lose the heating of the day and as we go into later this evening. Though storm track Doppler radar continues to show a line of thunderstorms extending from Tupelo to Starkville down toward the south. The track on those thunderstorms, as you can see there, gets them into locations near Bruce at 5:42, Euport at 6:08, Kosciuszko at 6:37, and Oxford at 7 o'clock, assuming it holds on to about that 15 to 20 miles per hour it's moving right now. Heaviest thunderstorms do have that batch that's moved into Louisville just within the last couple moments. Also a batch there toward Noxapater, filling in somewhat from northern sections of Winston County up toward the Waddell community, approaching Eupora within, as we mentioned, probably in the next 30-35 minutes. Kind of all around Houston at this moment. Heavy rainfall, lightning, low-hanging clouds, but no tornadoes, nothing severe. The winds are in that 15 to 25 mile per hour range. We really haven't had any reports anything greater than that. And then storms up, moving into New Albany as we speak, as well as very near the Randolph community. You can see our contrast, rain cooled to the east and obviously not to the west. And it'll be these little easterly waves that kind of move in once again. Let me get my direction right there because it's kind of backwards even for me. We'll have that latest storm tracker and what it expects for the next few days coming up.
A child remains in intensive care after falling 45 feet from a Ferris wheel at a county fair in Tennessee on Monday. 2 other children also fell in an accident and they remain hospitalized.
The fair accident comes a day after a 10-year-old boy was killed on a water slide at a water park in Kansas. As Chris Pallone reports, the deaths raise questions about safety regulations at amusement parks as well as fairs and carnivals across the country.
Rides at the Greene County Fair in Greenville, Tennessee are shut down as inspectors try to figure out what went wrong.
Last night at approximately 6:15 p.m., 3 people were injured as a result of falling from the Ferris wheel at the Greene County Fair.
The 3 girls are 16, 10, and 6 years old. Doctors say the 6-year-old suffered a traumatic brain injury, the 10-year-old hurt her arm, and the 16-year-old spent the night in critical condition.
Fortunately, through the night she has done well, and we're able to say that she will be downgraded to a stable condition today.
A third-party inspector will determine what caused the car to tip over.
We have to rely on them to tell us what happened, how the mechanisms work, what the errors were, if there were any, or what the breakdown was.
It's unclear when or if the rides operated by a company called Family Attractions were last inspected. There are no federal regulations or reporting requirements for amusement or water parks.
It can vary from state to state or locality to locality.
The Ferris wheel accident comes a day after a 10-year-old Kansas boy died on the world's tallest water slide. An autopsy revealed Caleb Schwab died from a neck injury. The investigation into how that accident happened is also ongoing. Chris Pallone, NBC News, New York.
Still more news ahead. Coming up, more trouble within the party as another top Republican comes out against Trump for president. We'll get the latest from the campaign trail.
And later, the latest on the medal count from the Summer Olympics in Rio. Just how is Team USA doing? The answer ahead as WTVA News at 5 continues.